I go to bed. I'm gonna get started on it. I always like to start on these edges just to use up some of the dye. I don't like my brush to be too loaded when I'm getting to the close to the flowers there. I like to get most of the dye away for where I'm at right now. I just kind of get in there as close as I can. Try to get everything as even as possible. Go over it a few. Get some of that dye off. Get up there as close as I can with this bigger brush. Then after a little bit, I'll switch to a smaller brush to get into the real detailed areas. You can see there's a few spots that are a little light, but I'll go back over them here in just a minute. Make them nice and even. Sometimes you have to go over it 2 or 3 times in order to make it look good. Some of that detailed stuff, those little points right there, I don't like to get into right away with this bigger brush. It's just not worth risking dyeing a flower brown, then you'll end up having to dye the whole thing, which isn't a bad look either though. This one ought to be up on the website in a few days for sale. I know I've got quite a few up there already, and I also have a bunch made that I just haven't had time to put up on the site yet. I started taking pictures of them all to get them up there, but got busy doing other things, so I just had to put it off. I also got a bunch of wallets in the same setting. I've got them fixed up and ready to go. I just hadn't had time to put them up on the website yet and take pictures and do all the fun stuff. Now I'll switch to that smaller paintbrush, kind of hit the background area, get in those tighter spots that I couldn't get with the bigger brush. And I'll have to go over it again with that bigger brush just to get everything to match up good. I think this is a medium brown dye I'm using. It gets pretty dark since you have to go over it so many times. Try not to get dye everywhere. The fun part. Once I oil this, it'll give it a much more rich color. I'll do that here in just a minute. Try to get all this evened up right quick. Try not to let it run into that flower. You can see how much it soaks in once it sits on there for a minute. It goes on real dark, but lightens up as it soaks into the leather. A little lighter right here at the top side. I'll get that again. And I'll get this little area here where your knife actually slides in. It's always easier to get it now than when you got the back piece of leather on there. Makes things way more difficult. So now that I got it dyed, I'm gonna come over with a little olive oil. And we're just gonna let that soak in. Go through all the leather. You can see how it darkens it up a little bit when you put that on there. The idea is to get that oil down into all those impressions that you just put in there with all your stamping tools. So that's going to darken up a lot more. And of course I'm going to antique this as well, but the oil just adds a little dimension and contrast to everything. So we'll let that soak in overnight. Come back out here tomorrow and it should be ready for some sort of resist coat. Thanks for watching.